I'll begin my words of Torah in just a moment, but first, two quick statements. First, what a wonderful weekend. I want to thank all who attended either in person or in our live stream, my installation service, the Hanukkah celebration, and our groundbreaking ceremony. I just want to wish this entire community Mazal Tov, and may our path forward only be full of blessing. Thank you so much for coming. And second, an announcement. This coming Sunday, do not miss a matinee showing of Beyond Brisket and Latkes. It's a documentary put on by our now 8th grade, formerly 7th grade class, giving a portrait of Jewish life. It's going to be compelling for all ages. I hope you can make it. Again, 2 o'clock, December 12th, this coming Sunday, in person at our synagogue in the sanctuary. So, now for Torah. And I want to begin with a question. Have you ever been called a nudnik? Or perhaps heard of someone else being referred to as one? Well, the Oxford Dictionary defines a nudnik as a pestering, nagging, or irritating person, even as a bore. But in one of my books, A Treasury of Jewish Humor by Nathan Azubel, the nudnik is tied directly to the Jew, the Jewish individual. A nudnik simply has got to talk because, for one thing, he's a Jew, and a Jew, like the Frenchman, the Italian, and the Slav, is conditioned to be articulate. For another, if a nudnik kept silent, God forbid, he'd either have to be sick or else he would not bore you. And in that case, he'd stop being a bona fide nudnik. A nudnik's got to talk, and a lot. So, this book is full of generalizations and extrapolations. You know, even if we're Jewish, maybe we are not all talkers. But I do believe that there is something in the Jewish soul that tells us we cannot bottle in a thought or an emotion forever. We have to let it out. And I think that's actually not such a bad thing. And I see it in the stories of our people, beginning with Yosef, in our parasha of the week, Vayigash. Now, Joseph previously has been toying with his brothers, hiding his identity. He has pushed his brothers so far that now they are actually willing to commit themselves to the very same harsh condition that they had put Joseph in. Joseph carries with him this trauma of being sold into slavery by his brothers. And now, in the very first scene of our parasha, one of his brothers, Judah, is willing to sell himself into slavery to spare his youngest brother and Joseph's full brother, Benjamin, after Joseph has framed him. Now, as soon as Judah says that he'll stay as a slave in his brother's place, the Torah gives us this remarkable line. V'lo yachol Yosef lehitapek. Joseph could not control himself. In our modern culture, the act of bottling it in, holding in emotions, is perhaps commonly and unwisely seen as a sign of strength. And so too in Hebrew, lehitapek conveys a sense of strength in self-restraint. And it shares a root with words like afik, a canal or channel containing a flowing river, or ofek, like the horizon holding the earth back from the sky. But we are not meant to bottle it all in. And we know this from both positive and negative examples from our Tanakh, our Bible. Now, one of the top enemies of the Jewish people, Haman, you can go ahead and boo, Purim's on its way. Now, Haman actually controls himself. Vayitapak Haman. He bottles in his rage after he sees that Mordechai does not rise or even really stir or move at all in his presence when he sees Haman. But rather than let it out and work out his disagreement with Mordechai, he just bottles it in. And ultimately, we know that this is to his own demise and not to ours, the Jewish people. Even God does not bottle it in. The prophet Isaiah speaks for God and says, I have kept silent far too long, kept still, and etapak, restrain myself. Now I will scream like a woman in labor. Isn't that just a fantastic image of God? Now Joseph also does not hold it in. He can no longer maintain the act. He commands everyone to leave his presence, save his brothers, but then he bursts out into sobbing so loud that even the Egyptians who just left could still hear him. Lo yachol Yosef lehitapek. Joseph could no longer control himself, and instead he let it out. So, chevre, my friends, as the weather turns colder and we increasingly spend more times indoors, we are bound to get on each other's nerves. Now, everything must be in balance. You are the ultimate authority on whether, in any given moment, you are going to voice your concerns, let it out, or if you're going to hold them in. But don't forget that at some point, you need to let it out. Express your emotions and your thoughts like Joseph, and channel your inner nudnik, and thereby find shalom and peace and reconciliation. Al titapek. Don't hold it in forever. Let it out and have a wonderful day.